You're listening to Soap Dirt, the latest in television entertainment news.
Hey, Bold and the beautiful fans. I have got your full roster of weekly spoilers for Monday, November 4th, all the way through Friday, November 8th. We have got Brooke and Ridge on the brink of breaking up after Hope was fired. And I know everybody's interested on whether Hope's going to stay fired or not. We're going to dive into all of that. It's Belinda from Soap Dirt. If you're not following us, please reach down, click subscribe. Let's start with the action on Monday, November 4th, season 38, episode 36. So the way that this spoiler was officially worded is about Brooke confronting Ridge about his betrayal. I have slightly reworded it just for context. Brooke considers what Ridge did to be a stunning betrayal, because I think that's a matter of opinion, you know? Ridge is going to choose his daughter. Brooke is going to choose her daughter, as people do, as you guys would do for your own children, right? So obviously, on Friday, Steffy came to her dad and said, I can't deal with this. It's Hope or me. You know, she made moves on my husband. And then Hope came in and said, Steffy didn't let me explain. And maybe she could have made a case, but then she started attacking Steffy in front of her dad. And that's not going to go well, you know. So I thought it was just really bizarre. They brought Charlie in to escort her the 10 feet to the elevator. That was like, okay. I don't know if they just owed Dick Christie an episode or something. That was very strange. So Brooke obviously is confronting Ridge about letting Steffy fire Hope. And I'm just interested to see what Ridge is even going to say, because, you know, a lot of times, like even with this firing situation, he was largely silent and then finally said, all right, Hope, it's time to go. But he will just let people talk because he's the king of waffling. So Brooke, I believe, is going to tell him, you need to override Steffy and hire back my daughter. But Ridge alone doesn't have the authority to do that, because Steffy owns more shares of Forrester than he does. And Eric would have to get behind that too. So we'll see how that goes. Tensions and emotions are running high, according to official B&B spoilers, after Steffy fired Hope. And she and Ridge did that whole walk of shame to make her leave the building. And of course, that turned into a whole nother set of drama, which ties into the spoilers for Tuesday, November 5th, season 38, episode 37. Carter is furious that Ridge and Steffy betrayed Hope. And he's also pretty butthurt that they rejected his proposal. So at the same time that Hope was getting canned at Forrester Creations, Eric was rejecting Carter out of hand with his plan. And I do think that Carter jumped the gun, because remember, after he talked to Deacon on Halloween, then he was meeting with investors. He was meeting with investors without getting approval for the plan. And Eric was talking about how he doesn't want Forrester Creations to be in debt. And there's a big reason why. The last time Forrester Creations was in debt, Bill Spencer wound up owning them. He waited until the loan was like, 1 minute delinquent, and then he bought it up. It was a whole shady thing. And somebody had asked me here about the ownership stakes in the comments, and I explained that whole deal where Bill ended up owning it all. And then Steffy actually made this deal, and it was then owned by Eric and Stephanie and Taylor and Eric. And then it all came around where Ridge had fired Steffy, and then Taylor gave her shares to Steffy to thwart Ridge. And then when Stephanie died, she gave some to other people. Eric had lost 12.5% of his to Donna in the divorce, because everybody had 25%. So he was down to 12.5%. And then he got 25% when Stephanie died, and Steffi had 25% from her mom, and then she got Bill's 12.5%. So that's how she and Eric ended up owning 75% of the company together, 37.5% each. So there's a very strange power dynamic. You know, Eric on his own, if Steffy doesn't vote against him, could make decisions. Steffy on her own, if Eric doesn't go against her, could make decisions. And the two of them together can override everybody. So remember, Eric is married to a Logan. So Carter vowed on Friday when he was looking at the Forrester Creations, like, they won't get away with this. He's so mad, and they have every right to reject his proposal. You know, Carter doesn't own that company. Hope doesn't own that company. It is Forrester Creations. Despite their contributions, it's not their business. So Carter's cooking up a plan to shake up the power dynamic at Forrester. So, you know, it is privately owned. All the Forresters are holding stock, so it's not a situation like it was before. So I'm curious what his plan is. And I had done a video the other day saying maybe Bill Spencer gets involved. We'll see. I think that'd be a whole lot of fun. Wednesday, November 6th, season 38, episode 38. This is my birthday, you guys, by the way. So I'll be watching soaps on my birthday. Finn and Steffy get hot and heavy, declarations of love, passionate lovemaking, all that good stuff. Meanwhile, across town, Carter and Hope are doing the same thing. They are swapping I love yous. They are making love. Their relationship is on. It is on the fast track. And, you know, that means he'll be proposing in what, like 7 to 10 business days. You know how he does. But with Brooke and Ridge, it is not all wine and roses. They are having a very tense conversation on Wednesday about their daughters and where their loyalties lie in terms of loyalty to Steffy, which is Ridge, loyalty to Hope, which is her, and then loyalties to each other, which can be at cross purposes when, you know, Ridge feels like he has to back up Steffy. And the thing is, and I said this in the video, I don't think it would have kept Hope from being fired if she revealed that she was in the revealing lingerie to hook up with Carter, and that the whole Finn thing was an accident. You know, she was giving partial information, and, you know, that was part of why Steffy called her a liar, because there wasn't enough information there. Like, it didn't align. And I do agree, like, it didn't make sense. She would, as I said in my video, she didn't know Finn was going to be there. So it obviously wasn't a calculated move, but Steffi's blinded by rage. But still, Carter being involved with Hope calls everything into question, including his defense of Hope for the future and those magical new projections he did when for months he has been advocating to close down the line, saying that it wasn't doing well enough for them to keep. So Brooke and Ridge may be on the cusp of a breakup. This could be the end of them unless they can agree to disagree where their daughters are concerned and just put up a wall and kind of not think about it. But you know that's not going to work because both their daughters are going to pressure them. Thursday, November 7th is episode 39 of the current season. Eric tries to intervene, but Steffy remains firm. You know, he's got a Logan wife and Katie's over at his house all the time. And, you know, he is close to Hope, but he also recognizes that Hope was doing inappropriate things with Finn before, even if she can rationalize this. But if, you know, and we know it is going to come out, this Carter and Hope involvement, I think that's definitely going to affect how Eric weighs in on this. I mean, even if Eric says, I don't want her fired, he would have to have Ridge on his side to move the needle because he and Steffy have the exact same voting power. And with Steffy having Ridge backing her, then it doesn't matter what Eric thinks. That's just the numbers. Steffy remains certain that Hope was making moves on Finn and she has zero regrets about the firing, and she is not backtracking on Thursday while talking to her granddad. And Electra enjoys flirting with Will, and their chemistry is on fire next week. The last day of the week, Friday, November 8th, is season 38, episode 40. I am not so happy to see these two back, by the way. Poppy and Luna. Why? Was anyone missing them? I wasn't. Were you guys? Poppy goes to visit Luna in jail, and she has some valuable information to give her. Okay. And then Luna sends Bill a letter that, you know, he finds very touching, and it has him reflecting on how they got to where they are. Now, I wonder if it's more of, I love you. You know, or if she's trying to explain that because she's murderous and just framing her mom to hook up with Bill. because she wanted him to be her sugar dollar daddy. I mean, even if it's the most sincere letter you could ever read, and she's explaining, her childhood growing up with a hippie mom, still not cool. I was hoping Poppy and Luna were just gone. And as far as I'm concerned, they can be, but doesn't seem like they are. Meanwhile, Zende decides to get into Steffy's face about Hope for the Future ending and, trying to explain to her that Hope's firing affects him and others because, he and RJ were designing for the line. I'm sure they will repurpose them. Also, in the promo for this week, Ridge is saying to Brooke, your daughter can't keep doing this, talking about the Finn stuff. And Brooke says, you're wrong about this. Brooke knows that it's wrong, but she's also, I'm curious, I don't think she's going to come clean either. And that's problematic. Will wants to hear more about the story of Elektra. Katie tells Bill it was a tragedy and he was caught in the middle when it comes to this Poppy Luna thing. And we have some spoiler photos of Will and Katie talking in the design office. I'm sure they're discussing Hope, and Carter and Hope are at his place, and it looks like he is looking angrily at the door. Maybe he's just doing a looking off in space mad, or maybe there's somebody at the door. I wouldn't be surprised if Brooke drops by to interrupt them yet again.
Thank you for being a loyal listener. Follow us wherever you get your podcast, because you don't want to miss the next episode. Soap Dirt is on all the major podcast platforms, including Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and more.